National Lawyers Guild. Come on now. If you need to understand something, stop walking by and get some information. Unless you know it all, you can continue walking. So, let me pass this mic to somebody to say something now. All right, Dr. Joe.
I'm actually just going to introduce my team.
Can't hardly hear words you say.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Put some bass in your voice.
Can you hear me now? So I'm actually just gonna introduce my team. Some folk who came with me. So I'm Jill Humphries. I'm a social scientist. I'm Jill Humphries. Thank you.
There you go.
And I'm a social scientist. To my right is Shay Dixon. She is a law student. And to the right of Shay Dixon is Askari Moyenda, who is also a social scientist as well as someone who holds a JD. So I just want to share with you folks that we have some really powerful intellect up here in terms of to share some information. I work with the National Lawyers Guild. I'm a member. I'm a 15-year member of the National Lawyers Guild, which is the oldest civil liberties law association in the country. It is established, or it was established, to protect our constitutional rights, our right to protest, the right to assemble, right, the right to freedom of speech, the right to press, right, freedom of the press. You may have noticed that throughout, I think it's been probably like the last 5 years, folks, we've had a rolling series of protests across the country. The individuals that provide that legal support are people like myself, Shay, and Askari. So there, as a national organization, we have chapters around the country that provide legal support to protect the First Amendment rights of protesters. In order to do this work, folks, we have to organize, right? Organize our communities. The National Lawyers Guild provides this support across the country, but black communities that are most impacted, right, by the erosion of our civil liberties, particularly police brutality, right, we need to organize our capacity to provide this legal support ourselves, and that's what I do. So I'm a member with the National Lawyers Guild, and I provide this support, but I also build these legal systems or legal infrastructure in black communities. What does legal infrastructure look like? I work with attorneys, and I help organize them so they will provide free legal support in the event that protesters are arrested, right? I also am a trained legal observer, and what that means is that legal observers, we basically monitor any kind of interaction between law enforcement, the National Guard, or any kind of security forces that are out there to prevent you from exercising your First Amendment right. I train people how to observe and document, right, those kinds of activities, as well as being able to identify various types of military-grade weapons that are now being used by the police on civilian population, on us. In the event that there are arrests or that there is some type of erosion of your civil liberties, you'll pass that information on to attorneys who then basically will advocate, right, in the legal system on your behalf. As well as being, if folk are arrested, we also have teams of people that track people through the criminal justice system to ensure that you get out, right, and that you get back home, and that we basically follow up the rest of your case. The three of us that are sitting up here, we are the first black and African, or black and people of African descent task force that was established less than a month ago here in the Los Angeles chapter. I've been doing this work for 15 years, and I'm proud to say that after 15 years, I was able to establish this task force. There is nothing like this in the country within the Guild.
Give her a round of applause, guys. All right.
We're here to serve. We are here to serve our community, not just here in the state of California. There have already been requests. There have already been requests to work with other chapters in terms of how to do this work and to mobilize black folks to do this work. I'm just going to pass this on to Shay.
Nice. All right. There you go.
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing today? important it is today because of the climate. The political climate today is really important today that we value these rights of protest and express our desires for change. Outside of that, because what's happening now is they're over-policing us. They're putting us in prison for longer sentences simply for exercising our right for freedom of speech. So it's important for us to really be involved today, probably as much as it was during the civil rights movement, because that's where we've headed back towards. Make America great is because it was before, it signifies prior to the civil rights movement. That's what it signifies. So it's important for us to be really cognizant of that and become involved in our community, so we can actually take charge of it. And oh, by the way, this I'm actually going to do tomorrow, unless she gets the mic first. I'm going to do a Know Your Rights training tomorrow at 12 o'clock, so please be there. So, and this is a really important aspect of the National Lawyers Guild's movement, is to let everybody know what their rights are with the police. It's really important because we tend to think that if we just tell the truth, we'll be fine, and that is not the case. So we're going to cover that tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
Where?
Right here, right there, at the Hot and Cool Hall Cafe. Yeah. Sorry? The upper row. Row. Stop. It's the upper room. The upper room.
What time?
12 o'clock. Anybody, any other questions?
Yeah, do you have ongoing training after tomorrow that you can inform us about so that we can inform?
Yes. We'll let you know tomorrow what that schedule is. Or we will.
And if you're unable to make it, how can you get that information?
If we don't make it tomorrow? Oh. Well, what Teal will handle that.
So let me give you our email address. It's no, there is a specific email address for the Black and People of African Task Force. It's let me just give you my email address. J Humphries. That's J HUMPHRIES 2012@gmail.com. So that's jhumphries2012@gmail.com. to specifically build leadership of black folk to do legal observer work. Within the guild, this is considered their flagship program, right? And there are very few blacks who are in leadership positions. I'm one of few, and I'm probably the only black woman that does this work nationally, that travels nationally to do this. So in order to reproduce ourselves was to specifically say that when black folk come into the guild, I'm going to have an apprenticeship program where they are paired up with experienced LOs to take over leadership positions. And the third objective was to do basically public awareness, legal education and public awareness in our community, because our community needs to have first knowledge about our rights and how the legal system operates, and specifically the conversation that Askari was having with some folk about how do we gain the knowledge about our rights, and then specifically our role in civic education in terms of voting to be able to address this issue with our district attorneys, right, that are voted into office. But in order to address them, we need to understand our legal rights, right, and then exercise our voting power to vote them out, but to also hold the prosecutors, right, accountable to us, the people. So that's the initial sort of objectives, and I agree with Shay. One of the major problems in our community is how do we build sustainable institutions? And I don't mean institutions that get money from foundations. I mean institutions that are able to generate, right, revenue or income, right, social entrepreneurship to support our political and community objectives. It requires a different type of way of thinking about building our institutions. We have the knowledge base, right? That's not an issue. But we need to think about the financial sustainability piece and who the expert in that, and put those two together